Good afternoon, everyone. Apopka High School welcomes you to Game 24 of the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, the event that puts the reputation of the Orlando Metro Conference against some of the best talent in the greater Central Florida area. And today we welcome as our guests, wearing the black jerseys, visitors on the scoreboard. From Viera High School, they are the Hawks. And wearing the white jerseys, home on the scoreboard, representing the Orlando Metro Conference from Cypress Creek High School, please welcome the Bears. Let's meet the teams. We'll begin with our guests from Viera, and we'll start at guard with 5'8" senior number 0, Amir Cason. At guard, senior number 2, Justin Weatherspoon. At 6' sophomore, number 10, Kamar Plain. At guard, 5'9" senior number 11, Tyler Costin. And finally for the Hawks, 6'4" sophomore number 23, Jack Hancock. The Hawks are coached by Mr. Logan Keith in his 4th year at the helm of Viera. And now, let's meet the Cypress Creek Bears. Starting at forward, 6'4", senior number 0, Marlon Bennett. At guard, 6' senior number 1, Christopher St. Felix. At guard, 5'10", junior number 13, Raynel Acosta Rodriguez. At guard, 6' senior number 14, Jackson Solide. And finally for the Bears at forward, 6'8", senior number 21, Hasani Rivera. The head coach of the Bears in his 1st year at the helm of Cypress Creek, Mr. Rob Campman. The officials for this afternoon's game are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. We thank them for their dedicated service to our high school athletic programs and join them along with our participating schools, reminding everyone to make great sportsmanship a part of this and every athletic competition. This game, along with all 28 games of the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, is presented live online on Varsity Sports Network. If you have friends or family back on the other side of Orlando, back in Viera or anywhere in the world, and they're not able to join us in person, you can always just direct them to the Varsity Sports Network app on Apple TV, Roku, or Amazon Fire Stick, or on any device from varsitysportsnetwork.org. And we want to welcome those of you who have done just that. Welcome to Joe Sterling Gymnasium, home of the Blue Darters for Game 24 in our 28-game series. My name is Mark Barchi. I am the media director for the Metro versus Florida Challenge. And I am joined by Neil Fisher from Varsity Sports Network and the Apopka Chief to take you through this 24th installment of our 12th edition.
And thank you again, Mark. We roll on, and of course you roll on with great performances as the introduction. This is the 24th game, as Mark mentioned, out of 28. Viera in the dark jerseys, representing the Florida contingency, and Cypress Creek in the white jerseys, representing the Metro Conference. We're 30 seconds in. Viera unable to drop its first attempt, and now Cypress Creek goes to work. Top of the key, that's Rodriguez. Swings that ball down low along the baseline. And getting the ball is Rivera. He's unable to drop the turnaround, but does draw the foul on the rebound. So Winduck's work pays off.
Foul called against Hawks number 23, Jack Hancock. His first, the team's first. That will send Marlon Bennett to shoot 2.
So Bennett at the line, opportunity to break, to score the first points. And no problem there. Second free throw as a hush, an unexpected hush fell over Joe A. Stern Gymnasium for a while. Of course, we are on the campus of Apopka High School. Joe A. Sterling, as Viera now down 2-0. Only a minute in. The long range and drain the rain.
3 for Tyler Costin.
3-2 lead now for Viera.
Foul called against number 2, Justin Weatherspoon. His first, the team's second.
Cypress Creek goes back to work, trailing 3-2. Just started the 24th of 28 games. That ball went right back to Rivera, picked it up. No dice on the tray. And Amir Cason, the 5'8" senior guard, tracks down the loose ball. Viera goes back to work, swinging it around. Of course, Cypress Creek under first-year head man Rob Campman. They come in with a 14-12 record, so a little bit above average. That's certainly solid and respectable. Member of Class 7A District 5, and 1-3 in this particular event. But it does seem like, Mark, of course, Cypress Creek, one of the newer schools in the Metro Conference, 22 in total. They came into existence, I say, in the mid-2000s, that first decade. And, you know, again, we don't follow them. Mark Barchi and I are the in-house broadcast team for Wekiva, but we do indirectly follow the Metro Conference as a whole, as Coach Campman immediately calls a timeout after that.
Hasani Rivera has an offer from Southeastern University. And they also have a couple of returning seniors, Marlon, Bennett, and Jackson Solide. So they are poised to maybe break out of that kind of pattern of mediocrity that they've had over the last several seasons. We'll see if they can do that today. And this is a good start. That's Marlon Bennett on the layup. 4 points for him. Actually, all 4
points.
The Bears
and
side.
All 5 points for Viera, scored by Costin.
And now we're going to pick up a turnover. The Bears will have an opportunity to take the lead.
So looking at Viera, they are under Logan Keith. He's in his 4th year. Made the playoffs last year as the district runner-up. 14-11 record, members of Class 6A, District 8. They do return only 2 varsity players, though.
Held ball. Possession, Bears.
And look for them to be, as Coach Keith puts it, guard heavy. And certainly no argument from us here at the scorers table at the broadcast booth, at least so far. 3 minutes in. As we get a stoppage to clean up some of the water, actually all of the water, you don't want any, but clean up the water. So the launch, way off mark, but Bennett Rivera doing Windex work.
Hasani Rivera for 2.
So lead goes back to Cypress Creek. First 2 points scored by someone other than Bennett. And meanwhile, at the other end, that net barely moved.
3 for Amir Cason.
Cason stroking the net. And now a 2-point lead for Viera. And at the other end, score the deuce.
Hasani Rivera and 1. Foul called against number 23, Jack Hancock, his second. The team's 3rd.
So now Rivera, with the score tied at 8-8, steps up to the line. Of course, opportunity to put Cypress Creek ahead. And can't get it done, clanking off that left side and scoring the rebound. So this is the 2022 Metro versus Florida Challenge. And the premise on this, it's been around since 2010, the 12th edition. No event in 2020 because of the pandemic. So there are 22 teams making up the Metro Conference. In each of these 21 games, a member of the Metro Conference takes on a member of the non-member of the conference, aka the Florida contingency.
Basket by number 22, Colin Oakley.
And then at the end of those 28 games, which by the way is the largest ever for this event in its 12 years, we total up the numbers on both sides and see who has more, the Metro Conference or the Florida contingency. Long range, stroke the tray.
3 for Zachariah Wagnes.
And a 12-8 lead for Cypress Creek. Actually, an 11-8 lead for Viera.
Yep, I got that backwards on the scoreboard. I'll get that fixed for you. There we go.
So again, thank you for joining us on this holiday weekend. We hope you had a great Thanksgiving, had some good food and some good time with your family. Of course, we know there are a lot of other sporting options this weekend, including the addition of the World Cup. As 2.5 remain in the first quarter, 11-8 lead for Viera. And Viera will keep possession of the ball. So I'm Neil Fisher. The other voice you hear is Mark Barchi. He's also our director. And operating our camera high above us from the top bleacher is Rob Cleveland.
You got 11-10, right? We're good.
So far, a good game, good competition. That ball's not going to drop for Justin Weatherspoon. And Cypress Creek will go back to work. Opportunity to cut the lead to 1 or tie. In the middle, that's Bennett. Takes the pass and floats in the deuce.
Marlon Bennett adds 2.
Cuts the lead to 12-10. That pass set that up, set the basket up. Beautiful pass. Got to make the coach happy, Coach Campman. And on the other end,
3 for number 22, that's Conlon Oakley.
that three-pointer can't make Coach Campman happy. His defense falling asleep and leaving Cason open. Or excuse me, Oakley open. So now Viera has led this game for about the last 6 minutes or so. And now they've built on that lead.
Foul called against Hawks number 10, Kamar Plain, his first, the team's 4th.
And we're going to pause. Nope, no timeout. Just got a stoppage for substitution.
Okay, let's get it right. 13-13, right?
Back to work, Cypress Creek goes. And not for very long, though. Viera's defense getting in the hand, away, quick passes, rims in and out, doing Windex work, quiet. And so now Cypress Creek will walk the ball up. Rodriguez, one-on-one with Cason, crosses midcourt. Man-to-man for Viera.
All right, we corrected the score one more time at the bottom of your screen there, so we believe that is right now, 13 all.
It's a 2-3 zone for Viera. And snagging that loose ball was Cason off the rebound. He won't try to attack. Instead, he'll make the pass through the lane. Another pass back out to Cason at the top. Rattles around. High rebound comes down to Solide. He tries to make that long pass. Save. And they rotate it to the top of the key where Lateness can't drop the tray. Another tray attempt off the hands of Solidi, and that doesn't even catch rim, goes out of bounds. It'll be Viera possession with the 15-2 lead. Excuse me, 13 all. So also want to point out, as we mentioned, explain the concept tangibly. We got two sides, the Metro Conference in the Florida, and we see who wins the most games, which, by the way, a 121-97 lead for the Metro Conference heading into this year's event. But Coach Williams, Scott Williams, also wanted to do this event as a showcase to demonstrate just how good Central Florida basketball is in comparison to the rest of the state. It's hard to argue with that, as they've won 17. They have gone since 2005 to 17 state championship finals. The one area, though, that can really compete, go toe-to-toe, is Polk County. Polk County with 15 state championship finals out of the 32 held by the Florida contingency this year.
Zakaria Lagmas is called in his first personal foul, the team's first, and that will send Conlon Oakley to the line shooting two.
So Oakley drops the first and breaks the tie as Viera goes back into the lead at 14-13. And the second free throw finds the mark. So a 15-13 lead for Viera again. Five lead changes so far. 1.7 seconds remaining in the first quarter, so Cypress Creek's going to have to get rid of that ball quickly, see if they can get a good-looking shot off. Yes, they do. That was Bennett. Couldn't quite find the mark, but certainly a strong way to end that second quarter, or first quarter, with the execution, just the way the coach draws it up. And welcome back to Joe A. Sherwin Gymnasium on the campus of Apopka High School. The Metro versus Florida Challenge rolls on the 2022 edition. Of course, this event now dedicated to Earl Graham, representing the Florida contingency. The Viera Hawks with the 15-13 lead over the Cypress Creek Bears. They represent the Metro Conference. And the Metro Conference with a 12-11 lead. That Trey does not drop down. Great hustle by both guys. Lewis for Cypress Creek and Plain for Viera. Certainly got to make both those coaches happy as the defense continues to hound the Viera offense. Had yet to get the turnover, but certainly slowing down, disrupting the pace and rhythm of the Viera offense.
Number 14, Jackson Solide opens up second quarter scoring for the Bears. That ties the game again at 15. And you're watching game 24 out of 28 of the 12th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge presented by St. Germain Chiropractic in Burnfat, Orlando. Live on Varsity Sports Network. My name is Mark Barchi, the media director for the Metro versus Florida Challenge. And I am joined by Neil Fisher of the Apopka Chief and VSN. We're taking you through today's coverage of the Metro versus Florida Challenge.
Yeah, again, a 14-14 score, a minute and a half into the second quarter. And, of course, let's also mention Rob Cleveland handling our camera and our video aspects. As the
Hasani Rivera spins for two to break the tie once again.
So before the break, mention that this event is as much about just showcasing, demonstrating how good the quality of basketball is here in Central Florida, a.k.a. Orange County. All the schools in the Metro Conference are located in Orange County, and they're all public high schools. As we get the drive, the kick out, long range dial, no dice. And Viera continues to get those loose balls on the offensive end. Now, though, they're unable to turn it into points. Good defensive work. Cypress Creek with the double team, and
Brooks Harris got in the way of that one, and we're going the other direction.
So the Metro Conference has 28 state championship appearance finals since 1994. That's 28 appearances in the last 28 years. And they have won one.
Hasani Rivera gets the basket and a chance to make it a three-point play. The foul is called against number 22, Conlon Oakley. That's his first personal foul. The team's fifth.
And the Metro Conference has won 8 state championships since 2004. So 28 state championship finals appearances in the last 28 years and 8 state championship appearances in the last 18, to give you an idea. And I also mentioned that Polk County probably would have something to say about that, though. The only other region, or maybe even county, that can go toe-to-toe, that can make that same claim as Orange County / Metro Conference, has a score now 19-16 in favor of Cypress Creek. Polk County has won 15 state championships. This year's Florida contingency field, 32 in total. Of course, 10 of them have been won by Orlando Christian Prep. So you take that away, 15 of the 22 state championships won by the Florida contingency were by teams in Polk County. And of course, certainly no reason to believe that's not going to continue this season. We've seen some great play by those schools. Bartow with 6 topping that list, also winning championships, state championships, Leesburg, Auburndale, and Lake Wales. Four and a half before halftime, 19-16 lead for Cypress Creek. Game number 24 out of 28. And the battle rages on between this Metro Conference, Cypress Creek representing, and Viera, Florida contingency being represented. Thank you for joining us this weekend. We hope you enjoy our broadcast in the, for the most part, exciting basketball, competitive basketball, as much as we've enjoyed bringing you these broadcasts here on the Varsity Sports Network. The long-range pass, so still Viera holding tight on defense, and now the quick swipe picked up by Cason. And just as quickly, the Cypress Creek defense stiffens up. So Viera with great defense made it look like they were going to get something out of that. And just as quickly, Cypress Creek answers, converging on Cason in the lane and forcing the turnover. (12-11) lead for the Metro Conference. Inbounded to Rodriguez, and now back to Ligmas as Viera going with the full court defense. Good job by Cypress Creek to get it over half court. Good passing back and forth, but then the passing and the offense breaks down once they cross midcourt.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
Coach Campman smartly called for the timeout. So a bit on the lower side at 19-16, but nonetheless still a competitive game through the first quarter and a half here at Apopka High School.
Welcome back to Joe Sterling Gymnasium. Cypress Creek in trouble on their last offensive possession. Nearly lost the ball there, and Coach Campman bailed them out. It was going to take a 30-second timeout, but he said, you know what, as long as I got the clock stopped, maybe we ought to talk about a few things. So made it a full timeout, and now Cypress Creek remains in control. We'll see if they can design something a little better this time. That was almost disaster. And on the floor, nobody comes up with it. The officials say it's going toward the Hawks. More sweat detail. It is a little bit muggy in here today.
Yeah, Saturday here in Apopka, Florida. If you're not familiar with Apopka, of course, Apopka High School on the northwest side, just a couple miles from Lake County. And Apopka, about 22 miles northwest of downtown Orlando. And one of the reasons I think most of the people here in Florida like living in Florida has scored the tip in. Great work on the boards by Lagness. And so that'll cut the lead to 20, or extend the lead to 21-16 for Cypress Creek.
15.
Yeah, 15, 21-15. And from the left corner, the answer from
Three
Keith.
From Cooper Keith.
21-19.
18.
21-18. Okay, that was a two-pointer.
No, it was 3.
At the other end, high-flying act by Hasani Rivera, the 6'8" senior, trying to jam the ball, trying to go with that traditional posterized look. They'll draw the foul, though.
Block is called against number 15, Tyler Armstrong. His first, the team's 6th, and that will send the Bears to the line. Hasani Rivera shooting 2. Six points for him, looking for 7 and 8 here.
So a competitive game, had a number of lead changes. Seven lead changes so far as we approach halftime. Cypress Creek has taken the lead about midway through this quarter, and they've held on to it since then. Now with the 22-19 lead as 1 of 2 drops for Rivera. Viera back to work, and they'll draw the foul as well. So nice passing, and again, chose the spot right to throw that ball inside.
Foul called against number 14, Jackson Solide. That's his first personal foul, the team's 3rd. Amir Cason will shoot 2.
.130 before halftime, 22-16 lead for Cypress Creek. And there was a bad pass. Not sure what exactly the thought was on that. Left wing extended to Trey, too long. And Window grabbing that rebound is Rodriguez. Back underneath. To Bennett, back to Rivera, and the big man team up, floating in the deuce.
Marlon Bennett to Hasani Rivera.
That ups the lead to 24-18, under a minute before halftime now. Viera needing an answer, and they get it from number 22.
Weatherspoon on the pass to Conlon Oakley.
So Viera scoring some points when they need to. And now the defense comes up big. Back the other way. And contact as Conley drives that lane. Cason drives the lane.
White 13, white 13.
Foul called against Bears number 13. Raynel Acosta-Rodriguez is first, the team's fourth. That will send Amir Cason to the line, shooting 2 for the Hawks. Three points so far for Cason, looking for numbers 4 and 5 here. First one rims out.
Second one good. So that cuts the lead to 24-21, 30 seconds remaining. And tie up, but a foul in the process.
Foul is called against number 2, Justin Weatherspoon. That's his second personal foul, the team's 7th, and that puts the Bears into bonus. At the line, shooting 1-1 for Cypress Creek, number 3, Bentley Jean-Louis.
20 seconds remaining. 24-21 lead for Cypress Creek. They've led by 3 for most of this period.
Hawks layup by Justin Weatherspoon.
So 10 seconds remaining. Full court press by Viera with the last second ticking off. And Cason steals the ball back the other way and makes the deuce, makes the withdrawal from the bank at the buzzer.
At the buzzer, Amir Cason on the Hawks layup, and that will have the Hawks going into the locker room with the lead. A go-ahead basket as time expires. 25-24, the Hawks lead the Bears at intermission here in Game 24 of the 12th Annual Earl Graham Metro vs. Florida Challenge, presented by St. Germain Chiropractic and Burn Fat Orlando. Back with more from Joe Sterling Gymnasium after the break. Welcome back to Joe Sterling Gymnasium, home of the Metro vs. Florida Challenge here at Apopka High School. We are coming out of halftime for game number 24 here out of 28, and we are underway for the second half. The Bears and the Hawks have been going back and forth for the whole first half. 25-24, the Hawks leading as we come out of the break, and the opening shot is not going to fall.
For Rivera, ball slides off that rim, and so Viera will go back to work with that 1-point lead. Viera, the Hawks, and Cypress Creek, the Bears. Viera representing the Florida contingency, and the Cypress Creek Bears representing the Metro Conference. Thank you for spending a part of your holiday weekend with us. And ripping down that rebound was Rivera, who cannot drop the ball on the other side. Cypress Creek trailing by 1 point, opportunity to retake the lead. 8 lead changes in that first half. This is the 2022 Metro vs. Florida Challenge from Apopka High School, Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium. And if you've been wondering, Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium was the coach of Apopka in the 60s and coached them to the 1962 state championship, the only one in the history of Apopka High School. Back on the other side, Viera looking to extend that lead as we go a minute 15 in, and they do exactly that, scooping in the deuce in the 27-24 lead. Viera remaining in the full court defense. Back the other way. Nice pass along the baseline. And Bennett slides along and makes the withdrawal from the bank. So 27-26. 6:16 third quarter. So if you're new to the Metro vs. Florida Challenge, it's based on the ACC Big Ten and the SEC versus Big 12 Challenge. Of course, Scott Williams, the head man, the head coach at Apopka, the man who came up with the idea, as Oakley scoops right, goes left, and makes the withdrawal from the bank. A 3-point lead now for Viera, 29-26. 22 schools in the Metro Conference, all of which are located in Orange County, as at the other end, we continue to go back and forth. Bennett dropping in the deuce. No lead changes yet. 2.5 minutes into the third quarter. Both teams scoring on every possession. And that's going to continue. Floating in the deuce is Oakley as he comes up strong on that drive. So those 22 members, one of which takes on a non-member in each and every game. The non-member is known as the Florida Contingency. 28 games, largest ever as possession turnover. And at the end of those 28 games, we will total up the amount of victories on each side. Again, in 11-10, we're tied at 11 all. We're Metro ahead 12-11 as we have 5 more games remaining, including this one. And the foul, first of the second half. So I'm Neil Fisher, working with Mark Barchi, who's also directing. And of course, our cameraman high above us at the top row of the bleachers. Could not put on this broadcast without him. That is Rob Cleveland. The spin around for Weatherspoon. Unable to drop the deuce.
Just try to keep it as close as you can. If it gets way off, you can use the set name clock button and type in a new value to change the clock.
Out to Cooper St. Felix, the two-man game, along with Rodriguez. Now Rodriguez drives in, finds Bennett underneath, and a slam. That was Rivera dunking the ball, actually. And now a 31-28 lead for Viera. Possession remains with them. Whacked away. Couldn't quite see which Cypress Creek player did that. Probably it was Rivera, since he's the tallest and was around the area. Cypress Creek can take the lead now. First time in a while since the first half. They will not, though. Great tip work on that right side, and scooping up that loose ball was Tyler Costin, the 5'9" senior guard. Out to Costin, who ended the first half with the deuce. Can't find the range. And Rivera doing the Windex work. So Cypress Creek now walking up. That's Rodriguez. He continues to hold on to the ball, guarded by Costin. One-on-one, back to Bennett. He can't find the range, slides off. Rivera thought he had an easy deuce, rejected, but Bennett picks it up over to St. Felix, down into the corner. And now Bennett slides underneath the basket, goes with the reverse. Can't get the drop, but he does draw the foul. So the Windex work paying off in the form of a couple of fouls. 3:05 remaining, 31-30 lead for Viera. They have led throughout this second half. And Rivera will go to the free throw line. Score the first basket, first free throw attempt. That ties us at 31 all. Second does not drop, and Cypress Creek gets the break, as the possession will remain with them. Inbound St. Felix over to Solide. Now up at the top. That's Bennett, one-on-one with Pillow. Under 3 minutes, third quarter. Tie ball game, 31 all on the lower scoring side. Out to Bennett, thought about the shot, now drives, attacks that baseline. Too much heat, but doing the Windex work is Rivera. Nice job, and he makes the withdrawal to give Cypress Creek the 33-31 lead. So the two big men have been instrumental throughout this game for Cypress Creek. Viera gets a second opportunity. Cason over to Harris, who drains the rain. And now a 34-33 lead back to Viera, the 10th lead change of the game. And back the other way. That's a foul on Zach Pillow, the 6-foot sophomore. 10 lead changes. This is the first one, though, the one you just saw about 30 seconds ago, the first in the second half. Amir Cason dropping in a deuce following a turnover as the buzzer sounded to give Viera the lead. The Cypress Creek bench rising in unison as they thought that ball was going to drop, and now they clap in support of their teammates. Possession will remain with Cypress Creek. Some hard work being done underneath that board. Rivera takes the inbound, gives it to his fellow Twin Tower. Bennett now down on the left side. And tip by Viera. And Brooks Harris getting a hand on that ball. And so Viera will not get possession of the ball. No, actually they do get possession. So not directly a turnover, but end result the same. Possession changes. The launch, rims in and out. Rivera skying for that rebound. Give him another one. Rivera with double digits in the rebound. And now Rodriguez will go to work. One-on-one with Cason. A minute left in the third quarter. The double team giving Solide all kinds of problems, and Coach Campman seen enough. He calls a timeout. 34-33, Viera with the lead in a game featuring 10 different lead changes. This is the 2022 Metro vs. Florida Challenge on the Varsity Sports Network. Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium on the campus of Apopka High School is the scene, and we got ourselves a tight one. Competition closing out this 2022 Metro vs. Florida Challenge. Couldn't ask for a closer game. 34 for Viera Hawks representing the Florida contingency. 33 for the Cypress Creek Bears representing the Metro Conference. 1 minute remaining in the third quarter in the third of 7 games taking place today. Those 7 games will conclude this year's Metro vs. Florida Challenge. 10 lead changes as Cypress Creek gets to work, looking to retake that lead, and they will not. A whistle and a traveling call. So give Viera's defense credit. They come up with the forcing the turnover when their lead was in danger, and we've seen that throughout the whole game. Both these teams' defenses rising to the occasion. Of course, the 67 combined points on the lower side. And to be honest, it's been more of the defense's doing than the offense's failures. And there you see another example as Cypress Creek holds Viera. Now they'll go to work. 25 seconds remaining. That's Rodriguez. Double team, gets rid of the ball. 15 seconds. Still looking for that open shot. Nice job by Cypress Creek controlling this ball as Viera's going to double teams, relentless. 10.5 seconds now in the third quarter. Of course, the Metro vs. Florida Challenge, the 12th season, started at Wekiva. There was no event in 2020 due to the pandemic. Coach Williams, the creator and director of this, as we're going to get a stoppage and some discussion with the ref in the scorers table. Began the event when he was the coach at Wekiva in 2007. Came up here to Apopka, just 5 miles northwest of Wekiva after 7 seasons, and brought the event with them. Inbound. This is Rivera going one-on-one. Rivera calling off the double teams, and now no dice on that rim. 1 second, Viera's not going to get the shot off. So a lot of action and a lot of tough defense. When all is said and done, nobody scores. in those last handful of possessions, Viera still remains with the 34-33 lead as we enter the fourth quarter in a game with 10 different lead changes from Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium on Apopka High School. One quarter remaining in the third of 7 games being played today at Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium, Apopka High School. This is the 2022 Metro versus Florida Challenge. Viera representing the Florida contingency with the 34-33 lead over Cypress Creek, representing the Metro Conference. A 12-11 lead being held by the Metro Conference in the overall standing. So Viera with possession, obviously looking to increase the lead. 1-on-1, that's Plain. Kicks that ball off to Cason, who drains the rain. And we begin the fourth quarter with fireworks. 37-33 lead for Viera. Viera has led for most of the third quarter. Speaking of Cason, the man who just dropped the tray, put Viera in the lead with the deuce at the end of the second quarter, literally as the buzzer went off. Only one lead change after having 9 in the second quarter. In the third quarter, only one lead change, 9 in the second quarter. And now the turnover. Got a stoppage to wipe up some water, some sweat. Seen that a number of times today. It is very humid. Throughout this event, we've seen a number of stoppages for water to wipe up water and sweat, but today seems like there's even more. This is certainly the warmest the gym has been among the 4 days. So I'm Neil Fisher, along with Mark Barchi, handling our direction, and high above us at the top of the bleachers is Rob Cleveland, handling our camera. Thank him for his excellent work bringing you the video aspects. And that ball's going to rattle in and out. Cason taking the shot, and who else but Rivera going Windex, grabbing that rebound as we're a minute into the fourth quarter. A 4-point lead for Viera. Loose ball along that far sideline, and a second consecutive turnover by Cypress Creek. Certainly the defenses have shown up with their A game today in what's been a very competitive game throughout. So again, thank you for joining us, spending part of your holiday weekend with us. Of course, we know you have a number of choices in terms of sports. Viera going back to work. That's Weatherspoon bringing the ball up, going against the 2-3 zone of Cypress Creek. Robert Campman bringing that 2-3 zone to Bearland in his first season. And so far, the defense has looked good. Again, only 70 points scored. That's more of a result of good defense than bad offense, as that ball does not go down, and Rivera scoops up another rebound. So, see if Cypress Creek can convert. And no, they will not, but they will go to the free throw line. Legmas hitting the deck to 6-foot senior guard, number 5. Foul's not a problem. Only 3 for Viera and 1 for Cypress Creek. 6.5 remaining. Stick around, because coming up next, we got Ocoee representing the Metro Conference taking on Victory Christian representing the Florida contingency. And then at 5:15, the host school, the Apopka Blue Darters, representing the Metro Conference, will take on the Central Florida Christian Academy Eagles, representing the Florida contingency. So, ten lead changes. See if we're going to get another one here soon. Not on this possession, as it's a 4-point lead, but certainly a couple of stops and a couple of buckets, we will get one. Inbound, Cypress Creek. Into the corner, the drive. Too much heat for Legmas, but doing Windex work. Cypress Creek continues to crash those boards. Can't get a third opportunity. Gliding down the floor to the other end. The pass from Costin to Pillow, and we get a splash, and now a 7-point lead. Back the other way, Cypress Creek getting the answer quickly. When all said and done, still a 2-possession game, albeit 5 as opposed to 4 points. 40-35 now, 5.5 minutes remaining. As the sun continues to peer in on the west side of Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium. Great passing, leaving Weatherspoon with the drive. Can't get it to drop. Rivera again alternating that shot. The big man, Rivera going at 6 foot 8 inch. He's a senior forward. As we approach 5 minutes, Viera leading for most of the second half. They've only trailed for about 10 seconds. Midway through the third quarter. 9 lead changes in the first half. Only the 1 in the second half. And defense has been the name of the game in this opening regular season game for both these teams. Of course, this week was the first week that teams can play regular season games. So we'll see how much endurance and conditioning play a role in these last 4.5 minutes. It's played a role in a number of other games. And just as Viera was ready to kick it into gear, Coach Logan Keith calls for a timeout. So 4:40 remaining, 40-35 lead for Viera. They have led for this entire second half except for about 10 minutes. Can they hold on and tie the overall score between the Metro and Florida Challenge at 12-all? This is the 2022 Metro versus Florida Challenge from Apopka High School. Welcome back to Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium on the campus of Apopka High School. Taking you through the last 4:40 of this third game of 7 today. The Viera Hawks with the 40-35 lead over the Cypress Creek Bears, and they have possession. Good defensive work. That's been the name of the game for both these teams. Of course, 75 combined points certainly indicates that. And another turnover. Back-to-back turnovers at the other end. Weatherspoon unable to connect, glided through that lane, but couldn't drop the deuce, finish off the potential basket. 3 passes over to Rivera. He can't get the ball to drop, too short, trying to go among the trees. 4 minutes remaining. And Rivera will go to the line with Cypress Creek trailing 40-35.
And number 21 is your 5th position, so home 5, you're going to Fox.
Nothing but net on that first attempt from Rivera. How many points does Rivera have? 14 points now for Rivera. Bends at the knee, and second looks like the first. An easy pair, nice stroke. 15 points for Rivera, lead back down to 3 possessions. Viera looking to answer as we drop under 4 minutes. Cason. Splash for the 5 foot 8 inch senior guard. And just that quickly, lead back up to 2 points. Viera answering. So last 6 points now scored by Amir Cason, a pair of 3-pointers. And look over to my right, I can see Logan Keith, the Viera coach. giving out signals, barking orders on the defensive end, and whatever he said certainly worked as Cason, 8 consecutive points, makes the withdrawal from the bank following the steal. 45, 44, 37, 3.5 minutes remaining from Apopka High School, the 2022 Metro versus Florida Challenge. Three and a half minutes remaining in the third of 7 games being played at Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium on the campus of Apopka High School today. A 44-37 lead. Viera Hawks representing the Florida contingency over the Cypress Creek Bears. Representing the Metro Conference, they have possession, and they need to get into this lead. They need to score some points. A back-and-forth game towards the end of the first half. 9 lead changes over the last 4 minutes. Viera, though, has led throughout the second half except for 10 minutes. Now this is their largest lead of the game at 8. All 8 of those points scored by Amir Cason. And he's going to go for 10. Yes! Makes the withdrawal following the turnover. 10-point lead. Again, all 10 points scored by Amir Cason, the 5'8" senior. As Viera continues in that full court defense, this time Cypress Creek breaks it and gets the easy deuce. Credit it to Hasani Rivera as he makes the withdrawal from the bank. 8-point lead. And the foul. No foul. Actually a timeout. So, lead cut to 7 by Cypress Creek. Still got some work to do. 46-39, 2:43 remaining. This is the Metro versus Florida Challenge dedicated to Earl Graham on the Varsity Sports Network. And welcome back to Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium in Apopka High School. 2:44 remaining, and we have seen a good competitive game. The Viera Hawks have led for all but 10 seconds throughout this second half. They have possession of the ball now, representing the Florida contingency. 46-39 lead over the Cypress Creek Bears, representing the Metro Conference. And now if you're Cypress Creek, you're looking to take some time off that clock. Last 10 points scored by Cason. Make that 13 as he drains the rain. A 50-39 lead, largest of the game now for Viera, as Cason continues to drain points over the last 3 minutes or so, trying to answer Cypress Creek. They will not, but doing Windex work. Marlon Bennett, haven't called his name out in a while. 2:08 remaining as Bennett steps up to the line. He continues to convert those free throws. Defense, the name of the game today. Both these teams bringing their A game on defense. Viera's been better, though, over the last 4 minutes or so. And again, endurance and conditioning playing a role, as it has in a number of other games as we get down into this fourth quarter. And Viera a little bit better on that. First game for both these teams this season, regular season game. The tray, no dice. Bounces off, scramble to the right. And possession will remain with Cypress Creek, down by 8. 1:41 remaining. 6 fouls on Viera. That's the only disadvantage. So Cypress Creek will be in bonus the rest of the way. Obviously an advantage getting to go to the free throw line, but the clock will stop as well. A multiple deficit, that's important. 1.5 remaining. And the whistle and a timeout called by Robert Campman. 1:32 remaining. Cypress Creek still looking to cut into that lead. 49-41. Viera has led for most of the second half. This is the Varsity Sports Network in the 2022 Metro versus Florida Challenge dedicated to Earl Graham. The 2022 Metro versus Florida Challenge dedicated to Earl Graham. Third of 7 games today. We are in our last 132. It's been a great competition, great game. Cypress Creek with possession, trailing 49-41 to Viera. Viera representing the Florida contingency. And now, after that turnover, an opportunity to increase the lead. But, as you often see, and again, mentioned it over and over, this is the first game of the regular season for both these teams, and that certainly was a first game mistake. So Cypress Creek dodges the proverbial bullet. They still have some time to work with, but gotta hurry. Bring that ball up against the Viera defense, which has been the difference. Creating good looks for Amir Cason, the guard, the 5'8" senior guard, and he has delivered 13 consecutive points for Viera. Foul. Foul on Kamar Plain. And so that will put Viera in the bonus for the rest of this game, 1:13 remaining. Legmas inbounds the ball to Rivera, the big man. Swing it around. Down low, Rivera goes one-on-one with Weatherspoon, and he certainly takes advantage of his height. He'll go to the line again. Cypress Creek in the bonus for the rest of the game. So Rivera at the line. Cypress Creek needs these points absolutely. Points left on the table. Second free throw on the way. That rattles out, and that just might be the final nail in the coffin for Cypress Creek, as that keeps the lead at 3 possessions. Could have cut it to 2 with only a minute 2 remaining. Viera will inbound the ball. And now it's a matter of taking time off that clock and avoiding the turnover. And Coach Keith wants a timeout to discuss this inbound pass. Again, you're closing the door on Cypress Creek. Don't want to open it. 49-41, Viera with the lead, 1:02 remaining on the Varsity Sports Network, the 2022 Metro versus Florida Challenge dedicated to Earl Graham. 1 minute, 2 seconds remaining in this third game of 7 being played here today, the 2022 Metro versus Florida Challenge dedicated to Earl Graham. Viera inbounding the ball with the 49-41 lead over Cypress Creek, and an easy deuce. The baseball pass beautifully executed, and that'll up the lead to 10. The second largest lead of the game now for Viera. Cypress Creek has to hustle, needs a tray with 45 seconds, no dice. Rebound though, and just as quickly the turnover. Actually wasn't a turnover, but the rebound. And Viera will get the ball, and now it's time to close out the game. Cypress Creek still needing 4 more fouls to get to to send Viera to the free throw line and stop the clock. And that's not going to happen, at least not right away. And that should do it. The final nail in the coffin. The easy deuce, great passing. And so, a nip and tuck game. 9 lead changes in the first half. Only 1 in the second half. Cypress Creek keeping that lead within 1 possession until the start of the fourth quarter. About midway through the fourth quarter, when Amir Cason exploded 13 consecutive points, turning a 4-point lead into 11 points. And now with 22 seconds remaining, the Viera High School will take the victory and even the overall series at 12 apiece, 12 for the Metro Conference, 12 for the Florida contingency. And also, want to point out now, stick around. Of course, our next game will be Ocoee representing the Metro Conference taking on Victory Christian representing the Florida contingency. But we will also announce the Earl Graham Most Valuable Player. Mark Barchi, of course, will do that, our public address announcer. And Earl's name is also forever a part of this tournament, known now as the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. And, of course, the award is given out to Earl Graham, in the name of Earl Graham, the longtime assistant coach who coached for over 40 years, coached 2 sports, football as well as basketball, but basketball was his main love. And he was known as that coach who did the behind-the-scenes work, the out of the limelight, opening the gym at 5:36 in the morning before the sun came up, before classes, working with the players to hone their skills. And certainly because of him, so many players improved their skills, helped out the coaches doing the logistics and the behind-the-scenes work as well. And, of course, even more important, though, he was the man who served as a mentor to countless women, young women and men, and, of course, prepared them for a successful adult life. So that does it for the third game of today and the 24th game overall. 4 more games left. And your final score. What was the final score? Final score, 53-44. Viera taking the victory over Cypress Creek and evening the overall record at 12-12. To complete this, once again, one more piece of business, the announcement of the Earl Graham Most Valuable Player. Mark?
That takes us to the end of Game 24. And before we move on to Game 25, we have one last piece of business to take care of, and that is to hand out some hardware. We have the presentation of the MVP Award. Coach Earl Graham influenced the lives of thousands of young men for over 40 years as a coach in Central Florida. For 15 years, Coach Graham worked as an assistant alongside Apopka head coach Scott Williams, the last 7 of which were here at Apopka. The Metro versus Florida Challenge honors the legacy of Coach Graham by awarding each game's most valuable player with a plaque in Earl's name and image. Presenting the most valuable player is Coach Graham's son, Rod, and the most valuable player for this game with a 13-point streak that led him to 18 points overall, leading the Hawks to victory, the 5'8 senior guard, number 0, Amir Cason. Once again, we would like to thank everyone for joining us for game number 24 here at the 12th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge presented by St. Germain Chiropractic and Burn Fat Orlando. Don't go anywhere. We still have lots more basketball action coming your way. 4 more games. Games 25, 26, 27, and 28 are coming up live here at Joe Sterling Gymnasium as well as on varsitysportsnetwork.org. Up next, the Ocoee Knights taking on the Victory Christian Academy Storm. We'll be back in just about 8 minutes to cover that game for you live.